I never planned on making. But a couple days ago, Mikayla Raines passed away. Why? That's all I can ask is why. In a world that's filled with darkness, she was just light. She was just light.
Okay, so let's get into this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a story that's really quite recent and very poignant. It touches on, online creators, animal welfare, and just the power, sometimes the negative power, of online communities. We're talking about the heartbreaking passing of Mikayla Raines, the YouTube star and fox rescue activist.
Right. And our goal here, really, for you is to unpack what happened, to go beyond just the headlines.
Exactly.
We're using a specific source, an article from People magazine, published June 24th, 2025. So just last month.
Yeah, very recent.
And we want to look at, who Mikayla was, the challenges she was facing, specifically what her husband shared about that, and also the message he put out there about mental health, about online interactions. It's about understanding the human story, with compassion, but also clarity.
Absolutely. So by the end of this, you should have a really clear picture of Mikayla's life, the reported circumstances around her death, and critically, the insights from those closest to her. So maybe let's start with Mikayla herself. Who was she?
Well, she was 29, a prominent YouTube creator known for her animal rescue work, specifically with foxes.
Right, the founder of Save a Fox.
Exactly, a nonprofit based in Minnesota. And she started it back in 2017.
Wow, so she would have been, what, only 20?
Just 20, yeah. And built this huge online presence. The article mentions over 2.4 million YouTube subscribers.
That's incredible reach.
Yeah.
It really suggests she connected with a lot of people.
It absolutely does, a huge following. And that's actually where her husband, Ethan, shared the news. The very difficult news.
On Instagram, right?
Yeah, through an Instagram video. It sounded incredibly emotional. This was on Monday, June 23rd. He confirmed she died by suicide.
He said it was a couple days ago.
That's right, a couple days ago. He said, she couldn't bear what she was feeling any longer, and she ended her life. Just very direct and incredibly raw.
Oh, that's devastating.
And he described the impact on him, calling it the biggest loss of my life. He mentioned their daughter, Freya, too, and the heartbreak there. It really brings home the personal tragedy behind the public profile.
And his description of Mikayla, it paints such a picture. He called her truly the most amazing and inspiring individual, and one of the most selfless people I've ever known. He tied that directly to her work with animals, her dedication.
Yeah, that really shone through in his words.
You can just feel the loss when he said, not having her here makes everything feel empty. I feel broken, just gut-wrenching.
Absolutely. And Ethan also shared some insight into some of the personal challenges Mikayla faced.
Okay.
He explained that she was on the autism spectrum.
Right, the article mentioned that.
Yeah. He said it made her life, quote, very difficult. But he also pointed out something really interesting.
What was that?
That it allowed her to hyper-focus on one thing. And for Mikayla, that one thing was animals, her passion.
So that hyperfocus.
Yeah.
Like a strength in her work, maybe.
Exactly. A real strength for her rescue work. But, he also talked about her sensitivity.
Ah, okay. How did he describe that?
He said Mikayla was so sensitive to everything, and he called that sensitivity a double-edged sword.
A double-edged sword.
How so? Well, on one side, it gave her this incredible, endless empathy for the animals she cared for. That deep connection.
Right, you could see that in her videos.
But the other side, he explained, was that she took everything negative to heart.
Oof. And being a public figure online, that must have been incredibly hard.
You can imagine, constantly exposed to comments, criticism. If you feel everything that deeply, even small negative things could become overwhelming.
And Ethan said it wasn't just general online negativity, right?
Oh.
He talked about something more targeted.
Yes, exactly. He specifically mentioned an alleged online bullying campaign directed at Mikayla and her nonprofit, Save a Fox.
Bullying? From who?
This is the really difficult part. According to Ethan, it wasn't just random people online. It came from people she actually knew.
Knew personally?
Yes, including individuals working at other animal sanctuaries.
Wow. So within her own field, her own community.
That's what makes it so insidious, perhaps. It wasn't anonymous trolls, but people potentially in her professional circle. He said it hurt her a lot.
I could only imagine. That kind of betrayal, almost.
Yeah, and apparently it got worse.
How so?
Ethan said that in the recent months leading up to her death, things escalated because people she considered her close friends started joining in the negativity.
Oh, no. Close friends.
That's what he reported. He said it led Mikayla to feel as if the entire world had turned against her.
That is just devastating to think about, feeling that isolated.
It really is, and you could hear the pain in his voice when he said, it breaks my heart that someone so selfless and devoted her life to animals could have so much negativity pointed at her.
It just highlights the immense emotional weight that kind of sustained, targeted pressure can create, especially perhaps for someone with her described sensitivity.
Absolutely. But even amidst all this pain and grief, Ethan's message did pivot. He talked about continuing her work.
Her legacy, yeah.
Yes. He stated very clearly his intention to continue her dream, to keep saving foxes and other animals, doing it in her name.
That's powerful, carrying it forward.
It is. And he also expressed hope for continued public support for the sanctuary's mission. It feels like a way to channel the grief into something positive, something she cared so much about.
And beyond the sanctuary's work, he also had a broader message, didn't he, in that Instagram video?
He did. A really important public health message. He directly urged anyone listening who might be feeling lost and hopeless to please reach out to someone.
A crucial plea.
A very crucial plea. And he didn't stop there. He also spoke to everyone else, advising us all to look out for our loved ones.
To look for the signs.
Exactly. Look for the signs of distress. And critically, to do something or say something before it's too late. It's a call for, collective awareness and responsibility, not just looking inward, but looking out for each other.
So important.
And we should definitely echo that here. The People article itself included suicide prevention resources, which is good practice.
Yes.
So just to reiterate for anyone listening, if you or someone you know is struggling, help is available. You can call or text the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988 in the US and Canada. There's also the crisis text line where you can text STRENGTH to 741-741.
Okay, good. Having those resources is vital.
Absolutely. Getting support. That's a really key takeaway here.
So reflecting on all this, Mikayla Raines' story, particularly as shared by her husband, it just throws a spotlight on this complex intersection, doesn't it? Between internal experiences dealing with autism, that intense sensitivity and these harsh external pressures, online bullying, feeling attacked by your own community. It's a really stark picture of the challenges someone can face, especially when they live so much of their life, their passion, out loud online.
It really is. And it leads you to think, doesn't it, when you consider Mikayla's deep empathy, that hyper-focus, which was such a strength for her work. Maybe we can leave you with this question to ponder.
Okay.
What does her story suggest about the specific vulnerabilities, but also the unique strengths that come with experiencing the world with that kind of intensity, that deep sensitivity, especially in our hyper-connected digital age? And maybe more importantly, how can we, as a community, as individuals online and off, foster environments that are more supportive, more understanding for people who feel things so profoundly?